I'll never forget this night. The pizza place I worked at was about to close, and I was getting ready to go home when the phone rang. I was working the counter alone that night, taking calls, cleaning up. I picked up the phone. There was complete silence. So I hung up. About a minute later, the phone rings again. I pick up. Again. Silence. I was just about to hang up again when I suddenly heard a very weak, cold voice of an old woman on the other end. She said she wanted a regular pie delivered. I stayed polite on the phone, but inside, I was screaming. I just wanted to get home, end my shift, relax. I called out to my boss. Someone's requesting a delivery. He told me I had to go. I was annoyed at first, but then I thought, well, it's another tip. And the old ones, they usually tipped well. So I figured, fine. I took down the address and told her it would be there soon. But she had already hung up. Rude? Yeah, but I let it go and yelled to the chef, one regular. My boss told me to just head home after the delivery, since the place would be closed. A little before 10 o'clock, I got in my car and punched the address into my GPS. The house was 7 miles away. GPS took me to the quiet side of town. Really quiet. I arrived. It was a small, single-story house on a very still, empty block. I took the pizza, walked up to the door, and rang the doorbell. No lights. Nothing. I started wondering, did she give me the wrong address? I rang again. Still no answer. I was just about to give up when I turned my head and saw someone at the window. My heart skipped. I took a step back, freaked out. But slowly, I moved closer to the window, trying to see. It was an old woman. The woman, probably in her late 70s, was just standing there, staring at me, her face completely blank. I yelled through the glass that I had her pizza. Nothing. No reaction. So I shouted louder, "Your pizza." That's when it happened. A big smile slowly spread across her face. But it wasn't warm. It wasn't kind. It was the kind of smile that sends a cold shiver racing down your back. I can still picture that exact expression, frozen in my mind. That was it. I had enough. I turned around, got back to my car, placed the pizza on the passenger seat, and grabbed my phone. I had to text my boss. I fired off a quick message. Just wanted to get out of there. I started the car, ready to bolt. I looked to my right. One last glance at the house, only to see her. She was standing right there, outside my passenger side window. Same blank face, same dead stare. My blood ran cold. I slammed the car into drive and sped off down the street. I didn't look back, not once. After that night, my boss never asked me to do a late-night delivery again. All happened 4 years ago, back when I was still in high school. I was told to take the final delivery of my shift. I got into my old 1999 Camry, perfect for pizza runs, and punched the address into my phone. I live upstate, deep in the country, so every delivery meant a long drive. I remember the sun was starting to dip behind the trees, probably around 7 p.m. or so. After about 15 minutes of weaving through forested, bumpy dirt roads, the GPS said I had arrived. What I saw was a small, old cottage-style lake house, almost entirely made of wood. It stood alone. Absolutely nothing around it but trees, forest in every direction. The yard was wild, the grass nearly up to my knees. But I was used to this kind of scene, so I didn't think too much of it. I took the pizza to the front door, only there was no doorbell. So I knocked loudly. Within 10 seconds, I heard the sound of footsteps, wood creaking, coming from inside. They got closer, then stopped right at the door. My chest tightened. I suddenly had this weird feeling, like I was being watched. That's when I noticed it. A peephole. "It's the pizza guy," I called out, trying to sound casual. A low, rough voice replied through the door. "Bring it out back." I froze. I didn't like that. Something about the way he said it. It just didn't feel right. "Are you sure, sir?" I asked. No response. The footsteps didn't move either. I could feel it. He was still standing there, watching, waiting. Part of me wanted to turn and go back to the car, drive off and forget this whole thing. But then I remembered the last time I brought a pizza back. My boss had given me a ton of attitude. I didn't want that again. So, reluctantly, I walked through the tall, wild grass and made my way around the small house toward the back. I remember seeing a shed and a little patio area. There was a table with 4 chairs. In one of the chairs, facing away from me, I saw someone. A head, just sitting there, still. I slowly approached. "Excuse me," I said. Nothing. No movement. "Excuse me," I repeated, louder. Then, from behind me, "Over here." I spun around, my heart dropped. A man was peeking around the corner of the house, staring at me with this wild, crazy smile. "Come over here," he said. "I want to show you something." That was it. I lost it. I turned and ran as fast as I could around the house, away from him, straight back to my car. Pizza still in hand for some reason. I jumped in, started the engine, and took off. On the way back to the pizzeria, I pulled over to the side of the road and called the police. Eventually, they got back to me, told me no one had lived in that house for a long time. No signs of recent activity. No footprints. Nothing. That was it for me. A few days later, I quit the delivery job. I still don't know what would have happened if I'd actually walked up to that man. But to this day, I wish I'd turned around, just to see who or what was sitting in that patio chair. It was another late-night delivery shift. I was working this job while living in the Poconos, way out in the rural hills. Everything up there was trees. Endless trees. Nights were especially quiet, eerie even. I often found myself driving down roads surrounded by woods on both sides, just like this night. Only this time, it was darker, foggy, thick air. I was taking a shortcut I'd driven down countless times before. Suddenly, I slammed the brakes. Someone jumped out of the bushes, right into the road. Thump. That sickening sound under my front bumper. My stomach dropped. I put a hand to my forehead. No, I muttered. I had just hit someone. I stepped out of the car, heart racing. On the ground lay a man in a black hoodie, hood up, unmoving, right next to my front tire. Not a twitch. I panicked. I mean, what was he doing here, in the middle of nowhere? Why would he jump into the road like that? Then, things got even weirder. From the woods to my left, I heard it. A scream. Someone yelling, screaming for help. I froze. My eyes went from the man on the ground. No movement. Just still. I'll only be gone a minute, I thought. Stupid. But something pulled me toward that voice, and I stepped into the woods. I followed the scream, hoping, desperately hoping, to hear another one. But there was nothing, just silence, except for the soft rustling and chirping of night creatures in the dark. "Where are you?" I shouted. Then I heard it. A single footstep, leaves crunching. I spun toward the sound. Even through the fog and darkness, I could make out a shape, a figure, someone standing behind a tree, just barely visible, watching me. That was it. I turned and ran like hell, back toward my car. My head kept whipping around to make sure no one was following me. When I got there, the man I had hit, he was gone. I didn't stop to wonder where he went. I just jumped in, slammed the door shut, and drove off, fast. My heart was hammering in my chest the entire way. And somehow, I still delivered the pizza to something behind me. Then she asked, "They let you guys have delivery partners now?" I blinked. "What do you mean?" I asked, already feeling a knot tightening in my gut. "You've got someone in your car," she said calmly. I turned. Slowly, there was someone sitting in the back seat. My stomach dropped. I could barely breathe. I rushed back to the door and used the woman's phone to call the police. They showed up not long after, but by then, whoever was in my back seat was already gone. The scariest part, the police found a blood-stained knife right there on the floor behind the front seat, exactly where that man had been hiding. This memory still haunts me, every single day. And honestly, I can't stop thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't made that delivery.